sweet song. Take it seriously. This is your masterpiece. Don't forget to dream and taste the colors in the air you breathe. It's your masterpiece. Go ahead and feel it all. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for. I already see Kelly Antoine. What's up, everybody? Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Antoine. So, again, just like our intro song, thank you guys for joining us. Obviously, the Robinhood Capitalists, we are making a bold statement of helping families create what just happened. Oh, what is going on?
Still looks good from here.
Does it? I don't see anything on my screen, so I lost everything. So I'm just gonna go. My screen is showing me frozen. But good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Antoine. Good morning, everybody. Again, so Stacey, you'll have to be my eyes because I cannot see anything. But I am I'm doing this blind. So hey, technical difficulties on Restream. We're used to this. You guys have seen us on the Robinhood Cap or the Sales Chatter Restream. Unfortunately, I think it's the multiple channels coming in at once causes it to bog down sometimes. But so we can see and hear you. Perfect. So again, Robinhood Capitalists, thank you guys, everybody, for joining. We are making a bold statement. Like I had mentioned, we are helping create families create their heaven on earth. And what I mean by that is heaven on earth is a choice you must make, not a place you must find. And I got that from Wayne Dyer, and we'll talk a lot about that. And we'll talk a lot about choices. And a key thing we're gonna really tie down to is Zig Ziglar, one of the greatest that I kind of learned from, and has kind of been one of my mentors, which we'll talk about a lot. And mentors could be, they can know you're there. You could just be watching them from afar, from books, from videos like this. But the three C's of life: choices, chances, and changes. You must make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. And that is why we are here today. We want to help you because we know that the people around you, the mentors, the coaches, everybody you have that you surrounded with will help you defeat you, because this game of life in the end is a battle of you versus you. And so I have, thankfully, my special co-host Stacey Barnes to join me on this journey that we're going to have with you guys all today and throughout this journey of the Robinhood Capitalist. Stacey, go ahead and just say a little hello, give a little intro, and give the what you like about the concept of the Robinhood Capitalist name, and about the show, and kind of what your mission is throughout this journey as well.
Cool. Well, my job as a co-host is going to be pretty easy because once you get rolling, I just have to try to keep you between the ditches. So it's I won't have to say a whole lot on these shows. I don't think,
Oh, stop it! You need to do most of the talking. I don't want to do that much talking. I'm going to be asking the questions. You got to do the talking.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, one of the questions you asked there was about my idea of what it is we're trying to do here, and really what we want to do is we want to help people make better choices. And so we're going to be discussing things like the importance of having self-awareness, the importance of creating those positive habits so that you can create a change that's not just a one time, one instant kind of a thing. We want to create a change that can last over a period of time. And so we'll be talking about a lot of those things. But I really do believe that we are where we are today as a result of the thoughts that we've had along the way to get us here. And so our thinking is the key to everything. And so we're gonna fill your brains with really good positive messaging to help you create that better place here on earth.
Yes. See, that's why you got to do most of the talking here. That was perfect. No, and that was great. And I agree. And to tie into one of the things you mentioned, Earl Nightingale, we had talked about this, but uh, once said, "We are all self-made, but only the successful will admit it." And that's so true to what you said. Our choices decide where we're at to this point. So if our choices decide where we're at and we're not happy where we're currently at, then we can make the right choices to take the right chances to cause the right changes to lead us to that destination that we're hoping for, that heaven on earth that we're trying to
Yeah.
create for everybody here.
So
Oh,
we haven't announced our first guest yet, but he did write a book, and in the book, one of the things he says is he boldly states that I am the cause and the solution of every problem in my life, and that's kind of what it is. We have to take that responsibility and move forward in a new way.
have to. We have to. And that's, I'm glad you said that, Stacey, because that was the changing point for me in life. I was one of those, and I know there, everybody, we're all human. In the end, we're all the same. And that's our goal of this show in the end is to relate and have everybody who's watching or following us relate that there's no difference to me or Stacey. There's no difference to the time that me or Stacey or some of the successful people are the most successful people out there. It's how we use that time and the choices that we make. But at the same time, we as adults, the average adult makes 60,000 choices a day. So if you're making that many choices, you're gonna make some bad choices. It's inevitable. We're human. You have to forgive yourself. Be easy on yourself. Know that it's just about stacking little choices on top of little choices. And again, we'll go back to, I'll share, as anybody who's following has seen any show I've been on in the past. I'll share a lot of quotes, a lot of books. I truly think mentors, books, quotes, videos like this, it it's the cheat code in the game of life. I believe the game of life is a game. It's a game, and when you can change that mindset and get your mind to believe that it's a game, and we are just this avatar. Now we're in a game. I'm going game nerd on everybody right now, but we're this avatar, and you get to it has so many abilities and so many skills and so many secret skills that we don't know of. But it's just on our choices. And our choices, either good, we just get two choices: good, taking us toward the right path, or bad, taking us away. And that coin is from a good friend of mine, Rico Rakoski, who wrote a book called Just Two Choices. And it's so powerful because, again, what that does is it first lets you know that there always is just two choices. One that's going to, if you hold those fingers right, one that's going to take you towards your goal and lead you toward it, and one that's going to take you away. And the good thing is, we know there's 60,000 choices in a day. So you get the fresh 24 you start your day with gratitude, start your day right. Be thankful that you get another 60,000 choices to make this day. Today, everybody, we woke up. You got 60,000 choices to make. You're going to make some bad ones. It's okay. Just don't stack them. When you feel like you're going in the wrong direction, you feel like things are pulling you down, just stop and think, what's the next choice that's going to take me back to where I want to go? And just make that right choice. What thoughts on that, Stacey? I know we talked a little bit about that.
I'm going to reverse your order. The last thing you said there, I think,
Ooh,
is
okay.
where we have to start. You said it will help you get to where you want to go. Most of us don't really even know where it is we really want to go, and so we have to start with gaining clarity. And there's four key areas of our life: our health and our spiritual and physical health, both very important. Our relationships and family, our wealth, are we building wealth for the future, and then our career and our jobs. And in each of those four areas, five if we want to split the two health, But in each of those areas, we have to be very clear on where it is we're trying to go in order to make the right choice. And then once we know where we're going and we really have that point B clear and just so clear that you can see it, but you know where you're headed, you can just see it so clear. Once you get there, then those choices become a little bit easier because you can say, did that choice get me closer? Knowing what I know now, would I make that same choice all over again? And if the answer is yes, then we know we're on the right track. But without the clarity, what most of us do is we just kind of float through, letting other things in life fill our calendar and take and suck up our time. We need to become masters of our time and masters of ourselves and making these better decisions.
Oh, keep going with that. That's so. I. This is why you are the perfect co-host. Oh my gosh, this everybody, the universe. Let me tell you, the universe will lead you when you're doing the right thing. You have the right mindset. It will lead you, and we are more intertwined than you can even believe. The movie The Matrix, and that's why the intro kind of has that whole green numbers and things going on. I think is very, if you can believe and change that mind shift to believe that life is a game and in some way we're just this big web, that we're all interconnected in some way, as long as we find that right vibration, that right idea, that right goal, and then we get on the right bus with the right people because we found our purpose. We all have a calling. I truly believe each and every one of us has a gift. We have a superpower. We have a calling. um, and when we can align those things and find that calling, everything else just kind of happens, just like this. Stacey and these amazing. I guess go with that, Stacey. Where can you go with that? And I'll keep throwing up our guest, because thank you so much, everybody out there.
Yeah, thank you guys for showing up. And Kelly said you have to reach a point sometimes where you demand change and then start being the change you want to see. It made me think of that wonderful, great philosopher, Michael Jackson. He said, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change.
And make the change.
That's where everything starts. It starts with us. What if you want to be a better, or if you want better kids, be a better father. If you want a better spouse, you be a better spouse. If you want better employees, be a better leader. And so it always starts inward first, and that's kind of what this show is all about: is how can we together come together as a tribe and help each other get better ourselves.
It's almost, Stacey, like we are connected even deeper than I even knew. You said tribe, and one thing, Ryan, if Ryan's watching this or you watch the replay later, Ryan, shout out to Ryan, the logistics monk. But he says your tribe is your vibe, and I really believe that. Once I started to focus more on surrounding myself with the right people, and just that like-minded, we're all going after goals, we're chasing things, whether we're chasing the same thing or something different, that excitement, that we're not talking about the past. And I guess this is the tie into even Ed Milet, and talking about the past or talking about the future. And he mentioned something in his show recently, one of his shows recently, that I caught that was so powerful. And it was your friends that you're around, are they always bringing up, hey, you remember a long time ago, you remember this, you remember that? But he said the friends you want is talking about the future. They want to talk about what's next, what they're doing, the exciting things. And I think that's where, once I surrounded myself with those kind of people, the people who, again, whether we're on the same boat going to the same mission, we're all on a journey. And we, by sharing those experiences, by having shows like this, people, and so our guest, we're going to have guests on here besides Stacey and myself. So to give you a little format, um, Tuesdays will be guests. So our first guest next week will be David Perez. And if you haven't checked it out, check it out. I'll put the link on our YouTube. But Stacey and David actually were on a David show. David has a show as well. And we'll talk about that more. But Stacey was on David's show, and it's amazing. Got to check it out. It was about 7 months ago. YouTube, check it out. So we're gonna have guests like that, and they're gonna share their experiences. They're gonna share their journeys, and we're gonna break it down. Especially Stacey. What Stacey does, his background is helping startup business owners, helping franchises, helping develop the plans and the strategies and to get unstuck, to what's next, to get out of your own way. And so I'm going to ask him a ton of questions. We are going through it. Both of us, as we're sitting here doing the show, we both have our own little journey that we'll even share. I'm with Loyalty Brands starting a pet walking, pet sitting called Loyalty Leashes and Pet Care. And at the same time, and we'll get into this on Thursday a little deeper, but same time, Stacey's background had led him to now he's doing focal point coaching, which he is now part of another franchise system. And so we'll get into that, but he's starting to create his own coaching business and start his own thing. So we'll even give you what's helped us, where we're stuck at, our journey. And we're going to really just want to be here. In the end, our goal for the Robinhood Capitalist Show is to simplify business and life so that you can really create your own heaven on earth. Because again, like we started with, it's a choice. We just want you all to have the confidence that you can make that choice to make the right change and create your heaven on earth. That's what we want in the end.
Yeah, you mentioned, the idea of the people that we're around the most. Obviously, you can kind of probably tell I'm in a hotel room. So I am at a Focal Point conference. We've got a couple hundred business coaches from around the world that are here. And there's just something powerful about proximity, getting around people who are doing bigger things in the space that you want to be in, and people who are thinking differently and bigger than what you are. And so I'm really excited to be where I am and getting to learn and just kind of soak it in and share my experience with others. So it's really a good time to be here. But that proximity is really powerful because we do become the average of the 5 people with whom we spend the most time. And so we need to choose wisely where that time and with whom that time goes.
Well, that's why Les Brown tells people to practice OQP, only quality people. And that the reason he tells people to practice OQP is surround yourself with only quality people. Because again, the same thing. And a lot of successful people believe this and say this. So, and we're going to talk a lot of repetition that you hear throughout. But that's one thing: is you're the sum of your salary. Les Brown finishes it with your salary is within a few hundred to thousand, a few $100 of the 5 closest people you hang around with. So if you're unhappy with something in that, you have to change those people you surround yourself with, and then everything else will change. But I think the reason it changes is surrounding yourself with the right people who are there to remind you. So it's making sure that you have people that are there that know you're great. People that are there that in a room of opportunities, they're going to say your name. People that that just they believe in you when you're not there to believe in yourself. You need, I think, at least 1 or 2 people that really you can go to when you're like, oh man, I'm stuck. This sucks. I don't know what's going on. I feel trapped. Help. And you need those people that you can go to and just be real and deep and raw and say that. So if you don't have those people yet, don't worry. We're starting a community here. Hopefully people in the audience, you see people leaving messages, comments. Shout out to Bill Robinson. Thank you for joining. And he said, first choice each day. Today will be a great day. And I think it's even deeper than that. And so that's the way, and that's going with the laws that we'll go into here, because I think we have enough time to kind of deep dive into that. But it's even deeper than that. I start, and me and Stacey, to kind of tie how we're so close together. In that episode 7 months ago, it's talking about his morning routine. And from amazing books like the 5 a.m. Club or the Miracle Morning, they really, and then hearing just amazing successful people that I've had as my secret mentors that I've been listening to their YouTube videos, and they all say the same thing. It's the morning. Win the morning and you'll win the day. Win the morning, your morning routine, wake up early, this. And I thought there has to be something to that. Well, I can tell you there is. But it has to be on purpose, has to be intentional, and it has to be to what really ties to you. And so the one thing that I heard, and this is, again, not even a motivational speaker that I'm naming. This is Denzel Washington. It's just an actor. Say that what he does the first thing in the morning, every morning, is he drops to his knees on the side of his bed and he says a list of 4 or 5 things that he's grateful for. And I was like, wow, I'm going to try that. That mindset, just to get there, that has to be so powerful. That is the first thing I do every morning. I literally list off 5 things, and the 5th one is always, so it's automatic. So it's 4 things I think of, and then the 5th is always automatic, which is a fresh 24. And I think if we can wake up, like Bill was talking about, with that first choice being today is going to be a great day, but even deeper than that, hey, I woke up. God wants me to keep doing this. There's a reason. I have a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back at zero.
Back at zero. Another day, you got a fresh canvas. And that's the reason for our song. The intro song, shout out to Andy Grammer, anybody who liked it. It is called Masterpiece. I don't own it, obviously, or own any rights, so hopefully I don't get in trouble for anything like that. But it really is a powerful song, and I think just like books, just like quotes, songs can tell stories to really help you if you listen to the words and you really deep dive into it. Can really guide you through some journeys and through some lessons. And again, it's really how to take somebody's years and years of experience and turn them into advice for the future for you. And that's why I call it the cheat code to the game of life. What do you think about that, Stacey?
So you
code.
Heard earlier, you said that our goal is to simplify. And
yes,
I think that's a better word, because simple sometimes gets confused with easy, but it's not easy. Getting up and following a morning routine is not easy. Getting up and going to the gym when you're supposed to, getting up and being grateful for what you have. These things, we can give you a formula that's simple, but if you're like me, I'm the biggest knucklehead I have to deal with every single day. And I'm the hardest person I've ever had to manage and lead ever. And I'm guessing probably most of you are the same way. And so it's not easy. But man, once you start getting and it starts to become that habit, and the good things start to become more of your habits, and once you can learn the habits of success itself will become your habit. And so it's a process. It's an absolute process. And that's, I'm excited to get to share it. I'm not perfect at my morning routine, but I do have my time blocked out.
Me neither.
I have to start my day with something positive, motivational. I send messages out to some of my coaching clients to get their day started a little better. So I have to start and thinking right away, which is good. I go swim or walk or run or do something active to get the body and the blood flowing. Spend some time with devotion and thinking spiritually. And that gets my day really off to a win. I feel like I've won the day if I can get those 3 things: mental, physical, and spiritual. If I can do something on those 3, I've already won the day no matter what happens. Now, the meme that's out there about the dad who's bragging about waking up early in the morning and then at 7:00 at night he's fast asleep, I fit that meme a lot of days, but I do love my mornings.
So one thing you did say there, Stacey, and I'm glad you said it, because I think that's what we all struggle with. You said my morning routine is not perfect. I think we're always trying to make everything perfect, but perfection is unattainable. Like nothing is perfect. Nothing will ever be perfect. I think for all of us, we get stuck in that whatever that perfect vision is. This is going to happen exactly like this, and it's going to be perfect.
Comparing it against some fake message that you're seeing somebody else put out there, because they're only showing the absolute perfect parts of their life. And so instead of comparing yourself as, am I better me today, you're saying, am I better than some fake vision that's out there that's stuck in your head?
Yes, I love that you said that, because again, comparison is when we compare, we're losing. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. when we compare, we're losing either way. So once we compare outside, and we're no longer comparing just and competing with ourselves, we lose either way. Whether we're inferior because we think we're inferior than who we're comparing to, or we're superior than who we're comparing to, we lose. We lose once we put that there, and we put that out there, we can't. There's no coming back. And so I think, yeah, comparison. I love that you said that. We can't compare. We don't. We're not competing with everybody else. We're competing with ourselves. That's why one of my hashtags that I share with all of my posts that is you versus you. I really think in the end, this game of life is you versus you, and that's why up in the top right of our screen, you see "Feed the Good Wolf." That story is so powerful to me, and I think that's what we all battle with. And once we can realize that we all have just an internal battle that we all are struggling with, and it's really just us versus us, then we realize and can connect the dots to then form that supportive team of mentors and leaders and friends and family around us to help us defeat that when we're like, oh man, I'm not perfect though. Oh, this isn't going right. And they can say, no, that's okay. You're, but you, but you're better than you were yesterday, right? Well, what did you do today that got you just a little bit better than you were yesterday? And just keep reminding you that you are on the right journey and that you're okay. We need those people.
So the company I'm with now, the franchise I'm with now, is called Focal Point Business Coaching and Training. And Focal Point was founded by Brian Tracy, and he had the 1,000% rule. And what he would ask people, he goes, do you think you could wake up tomorrow and be 1,000% better? And of course, he said, well, not really. Could you be 100% better? Probably not. He goes, well, could you be 1/10 of 1% better tomorrow than you are today? 1/10 of 1% better. And pretty much everybody says, yeah, I could be 1/10 of 1% more effective tomorrow than what I am today. And
I
if you
love
focus on 1/10 of 1% better each day, that's a 26% increase after a year and 1,000% increase after 10 years. And so just 1/10 of 1%, we're not asking you to just magically change overnight. Just be 1/10 of 1% more effective and better each day. And that's all it takes to have some really fantastic and phenomenal results in life. And I'm a little bit ADD. And so when the messages pop up every time I see it, ooh, I can riff on that.
it.
Hold myself back.
That's okay. Listen, you're part of the show too. So if you see it, because actually I've seen a few. I wasn't looking because I fall into the same thing. So everybody, there is on both of our screens. We can see over to the side the chat. And anybody who's watched shows of other people, if you see them looking to the side or looking down, that's what they're looking at. It is it. I do the same thing, Stacey. I'm like, oh, that was really good. Let's go on that. And so I will get totally sidetracked. So I apologize to anybody who's watching. But I'm wondering if this is one of them. This is actually the one I was going to thank you to the LinkedIn user, whoever that was. Comparison is the thief of joy. It really is. Once we compare, joy is lost. There is no more joy. So don't compare. Compare only to yourself, like Stacey's did. And only 1/10. 1/10. If we could, to go even deeper, I heard Stacey in that point. I heard somebody one time, and I forget who came up with this, but said if you just did something for, I think it was Jesse Itzler, but if you do something for just 7 minutes a day for a year, you'll be 95% better than the rest of the world, or something like that. And, and I was like, wow, it's so small, but really when we think we have to eat the whole elephant, and that was one of the greatest examples, or I guess pictures somebody in sales has taught me a long time ago, was we picture everything as this giant elephant, and you don't have to eat the elephant all at once. Small little bites. It's small little bites. How are you gonna get through that? And that was huge for me. And shout out Ryan, he is watching. The logistics monkey in the house. LOL squirrel. That's right. Yes, he knows exactly that. The chat over there, it really is. It's so distracting.
The idea of 1/10
But thank you guys.
the idea of 1/10 of 1%, and I don't know if he said this or not, but they always credit Einstein with saying that the most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. Basically, that's what that is. It's the compounding effect of just making one or two better choices each day, and let those better choices compound over time.
Exactly. All of our financial people out there watching, I know you like to talk about that. So it's the same thing. It is. It's compound. When you compound it, even the smallest compound on top of each other, will eventually turn into what you want it to be. And that's where compounding just the right choices. Going back to the choices, you you you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make the bad choices here and there. We're human. We're not perfect. We don't have the ability to fight all of our battles. That's why life is a test. When you believe that life is a game or a test, then I seen you look. I look too. um, but when you really can make that mind shift and make that mind change to this life, this game that we're playing, is just a test, and that every day you're gonna wake up to a new test, or you just finished a test, or get ready and another test is coming. But like every day is a test. And if you just think of it, okay, where's my test? So now you're looking, just like shout out to Andrea Waltz, Go for No, another great author that we had on Sales Chatter. But you're finding those negatives. Now you're searching for, well, where is this challenge? Where is the test? Oh man, this is the test. Okay, patience is my test right now. This is happening. This is happening. This is happening. Clearly, this is my test. You, when we can really see everything that's coming at us as just a test. Okay, that's my weakness. Okay, there's another weakness, and we are. That's where the self awareness. We are. I won't go into the deep, dark secrets of the Rubik's cube, but you may have noticed. On our picture of the Rubik's cube, I really believe the secret of life is in the Rubik's cube, and it's all comes down to self awareness. It all comes down to knowing who you are, knowing your true strengths, knowing even more your weaknesses, and just surrounding yourself with the people who help you with those weaknesses, like Stacey, keeping me from rambling on and on and on. So go ahead, Stacey.
No, that was the best tease yet. You've just said the secret of life is in the cube, and now we're going to unpack the cube over the subsequent days and weeks as we go forward. So that was a great tease for what's to come later on. But no, if I could go back just a little bit, we were talking about starting the
Yeah,
day. You did mention
yeah,
gratitude, and um,
yes.
I think it was Tim Ferriss. It was one of the books that was kind of like an anthology of his podcast with all the different guests that have been on. It might have been Tribe of Mentors, but don't quote me on it. But it was just kind of going through what their keys to success were. And I remember thinking at the end, because it summarizes at the end what each one said. How many times was this mentioned? How many times was that mentioned? And I was a little surprised at how many times a gratitude journal was mentioned as a key to success and how important that really is. And I've always known that it was important to me, but I don't think I equated to how important it would be to talk about in a group like this. But it's so important just to be grateful for what we do have and be. It just kind of helps you have a better perspective and not always necessarily falling for the shiny objects that are out there.
I love that you said that, Stacey, and I want to go deeper with the gratitude because I agree. I think gratitude, and gratitude and giving are two emotions, two feelings. When you give something to somebody and you see that it really the fulfillment that you get from both those feelings, I really think are the secret to life. I think it's what opens those doors, opens the universe. Like he knows now. Okay, he's thankful for the lessons and to the point that they're at in this game of life. Let's open the doors to the next levels. And I think that really is like your escape to, okay, this is the next levels. This is what I was supposed to do. But you have to be happy. Even I'll tell you, I sometimes wake up and on my list is that if I have this feeling like, this was one of those days, and this is a thing we'll get into, and maybe we could go deeper in this too, Stacey. But I'll wake up with that. There's the way I live my life. I don't pretend like the obstacles that I might face are not there. Like some people might think that I do. I know they're there, But Brian Byro, again, another shout out to an amazing guy who's on, is really about seizing the woo and the window of opportunity. And I think we have to fully be in the moment and whatever that moment is. Right now, this moment that we're all in, whoever's watching us now, is we're all together. There are things going on outside of us that we have no clue what's going on. But there are millions of things and billions of people and situations that are going on. But it's we are in this moment. And that's what we need to focus on. And when we look for those problems or we're seeing the obstacles in the future, we keep focusing on that, and then I think we make them, and we could, by our belief and our minds, make them even bigger than they are. And so I think there's certain times that, like Brian Byro shares a story of helping a lady overcome heights, and they were going ziplining, and she was scared to death the whole time. Oh my gosh! And he'd say, hold on, just wait. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid what we're going to be doing, but you're not there yet. You're not there yet. Now is not the time to be afraid. Now there's nothing to be afraid of. And so I think, tying that is Les Brown's kind of definition of fear. Fear is false examples appearing real, or false evidence appearing real. And I think that's what our mind does for us. It makes these obstacles that we think are in the future that could be coming way bigger than they are. And so even like the day that I'm facing one of those obstacles that I know it's coming, like I'm this path that I'm on, regardless, is leading to this road. Now the day comes, I'm thinking, my gratitude is even thinking, all right, let's bring it on. This is my challenge. I'm thankful for this challenge. I get to overcome this, whatever this is, because the other side is I don't wake up. I don't get to face any of these challenges anymore. And that nobody wants that. So
Yeah, embrace the challenges. That's where we learn. You don't learn. Success is not a great teacher. We learn from those challenges and the obstacles that we face. Ryan Holiday's book, the big Stoic philosopher Ryan Holiday, but it's the obstacle is the way. What we learn as we're overcoming the obstacle sets us up to propel us further than we could ever gone had that obstacle and never appeared before us. And so, I think, you said this isn't about pretending that obstacles and problems aren't out there. No, you're right. It's not. And you'd have to be somewhat insane to be happy all the time. But what happens is our ability to control our response to the challenge, to the problem, to the obstacle, it's that response is what matters. And so if we can have that positive mindset, it helps us make a better response more often, possibly than not. And those fears that you mentioned, that false evidence, it is so ingrained in our brains. The way, as an adult, the way we react to problems, the way we react to people, a lot of the things that we do were ingrained and imprinted on our brains before we were 6 or 7 years old. Because all those things, the conscious part of the brain isn't even formed until about 6 or 7. And all of that stuff just goes in and it forms a lot of who we're going to become later on. So maybe it's a fear of a dog, or maybe it's something else that's just in there. And we tell ourselves, and so all this stuff, and I call it BS. It's a belief system that is developed over time, and it's subconscious. Those 60,000 decisions we're making every day, most of them you don't even know you've made it. It's that system just kicking in, and so we have to be conscious about what we put into our brain all the time, and it needs to be. If it's positive and negative as the line, we've got to try to live above that line as much as we can to offset those belief systems and fears that are ingrained in us if we want to go forward.
Yes. And so we keep talking about belief. So I'll go to our last thing to kind of finish the show. But again, anybody who's watching us live, joining us live, thank you for all your comments. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for wanting to be a part of this with us. If you do enjoy anything you're seeing or liking, or you do catch us on the replay, because we will share this on the replay and it will be saved on our YouTube channel, the Robinhood Capitalists. But please share it with somebody else that you know who might be going through these journeys, these challenges, these struggles, or just needs that belief, or they're trying to overcome this battle of a startup business, or whatever battle they might be facing.
Yeah, a couple of
Um,
times a week, we're here to put an injection of positivity in your life.
that's it. That's it. Surround yourself with enough positivity. I promise you, you can't help but be positive. To go into that a little bit deeper. So Brian Tracy, I was watching a video, and obviously Stacey with Focal Point training background, Brian Tracy. So going to where we even tie in the universe, how the universe works. Second person I went to after Zig Ziglar was Brian Tracy. Literally, it led me right to Brian Tracy. Studied a lot of his books and things, and then it went from there to Jim Rohn. And then obviously everybody that I spit out now. But
That's kind of like the Mount Rushmore.
yes, yeah, exactly. It really is. It really is. And but Brian Tracy talks about the four powerful mental laws. I believe these. I think that you have to find, even if you have it hard to believe these, you're going to have to, because the first law is the law of belief. You have to believe. Whatever you believe with feeling becomes reality, and that's the first law of belief. Is whatever you believe with feelings. So you have feelings toward it. Like Stacey said, maybe you're believing that obstacle is going to be bad. Well, believe it hard enough with enough feelings, yeah, it's probably gonna be bad. But you believe it with good feelings. You believe that regardless of what it is, I'm gonna overcome it. You have a lot better chance than believing it's just gonna be bad.
Yeah, he
Now,
went on to say
go
that
ahead.
he went on to say we become what we think about the most often. And so whatever it is that's in that mind the most often, that is what manifests in life. And so we become what we think about the most often.
Yes. And so to tie to that, he in this video I seen, he talks about a study that Peter Daniels did, lifelong study of 500 successful people who found success in their life. And the number one thing, the resounding thing they all had in common was they believed, regardless of whatever happened in their life to that point, at any point in their life, that they were going to be successful. They expected success. Like there was no doubt that this bad thing that happened was just leading them to the next good thing of success. This good thing is just leading them, but they just always believed and expected success. So expect success for yourself. Expect it. We all have uh, that inside of us. If you feel stuck, if you feel trapped, if you feel like you're spinning your tires and you're just not making it, believe that you can. You
And
will.
it sounds so easy to say expect success, but the entire world is going to be at your feet telling you you can't have it. It's not going to happen. It's going to tear you down. The people around you, the news, the radio, the podcast, there's going to be stuff everywhere that you're going to be bombarded with if you're not careful. So you have to be very intentional what you're putting up here in that conscious part of your brain so that you can expect success, because it's that's one of those things that we can tell you it's simple, but it sure ain't easy.
Yes, exactly. I love that you said that. And yes, it's all about putting it up here, guys. You have to put it up there. Number two, law of expectations. Whatever you expect with confidence becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. How do you get any deeper than that? That I think that is when we expect and have the, and so he talks and goes deeper into the attitude of confident expectations. Even negative things happen for a reason. So again, it's that expectation that whatever is happening for a reason. And it's all just building you to be that better person in the end. It's your journey. This is your wall. This is your obstacle that you're going to have to face. But if you believe that you have your purpose, your calling, and you're following it, just keep going.
That law of expectations is huge, because we tell ourselves stories about ourselves too. And so when you say things like I always, and it's something negative, or I never, and again it's something negative, that becomes your reality. That expectation becomes who you are. You will never outperform your own self identity, your own self ego. So it's a battle that we all have to face.
Ah, I love that you said ego. Wayne Dyer says ego is the earth guide only, stands for earth guide only. And if you believe that, then you'll believe you'll really get into the game of life, and we'll get deeper into that too. But before we go to that, a story he shares, and this is kind of where I want to finish probably finish the show, and we'll end up finishing the show. But he shares a story when he's talking about the law of expectations about a man who has a business in New York that is struggling. He's about to lose his house. He's losing everything, which I'm sure a lot of people either have, and that might be listening to this even right now, or might catch this in the replay, might have gone through this, might be going through this right now. It is a scary thing. And so what he shares about in this story is this man then goes for a walk in Central Park, and he finds himself on a bridge. He's on the bridge in Central Park, just kind of thinking, what do I do? Like, it's ending. It's over. This is it. Like, I'm going to lose my house. My business is failing. Everything's falling apart. Out of the darkness comes a guy. Comes a stranger. He says, hey, I see you're struggling. I see there's something deep on your mind. How can I help? And he said, my business is failing. Oh, that's okay. I'm John D. Rockefeller. I could write you a check. I'll loan you the money to turn your business around. How much do you need? And he says like two or 300,000. He says, okay, well, I'll write you a check for 500,000. Pulls out a checkbook, writes a check for $500,000. Gives it to him, says, meet me back here a year from now, and you can pay me back. And just walks away. So now this guy is thinking, wow, holy cow, this is crazy. This is answer to my prayers. This is amazing. He goes back home. He's looking at the check, goes back to his office. He's like, he looks at the check. He says, I don't need it yet. I don't need to cash it yet. My business isn't there yet. It isn't to where I need this money. So he puts it away in his safe, locks that $500,000 in case he needs it. It's there. So now he goes, and because he has the confidence of that $500 check, he starts to change his mindset. He questions that one simple idea. And so he's changing his mindset he starts to dig deeper into his business. He starts to upgrade his advertising, upgrade his marketing, his sales, all of his efforts. He starts to pump more into it because he has that $500 check just in case. Year goes by, he never needs to cash it. He goes back to the bridge. It's waiting about 10, 15 minutes. Out of the dark comes that guy. Hey, you're here again. Glad to see you. How'd it turn out? And he says, hey, I actually, everything turned out great. I didn't even need to cash it. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear of your success. And out of the woods, out of the dark comes a nurse a few seconds after. Mr. Alexander, or Mr. Hawkins, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if he's bothering you. You got to come with me. And he breaks out of the asylum, and every time he ends up back at Central Park, we have to chase him. So then they disappear in the woods. And the whole idea of that story is it was just the check. And the belief in that check, or the belief in something higher than themselves at that moment, whether it's a calling, whether it's God, let it be us. Let us be your back of support to that $500 check. But find that $500 check in your life to believe in, and chase what you're going after with everything. Thoughts on that, Stacey?
I like the commitment of Mr. Hawkins. He actually had checks made up that said John D. Rockefeller. That's committed,
right?
to who he thinks he is.
That's so.
But no, I love the story.
It's so funny you brought that up. I thought the same thing.
Just one change of mindset. He went from can I do this, to the mindset of how can I do this, assuming that there is a solution. I don't need the money. I've got the answer right up here, because we all have the answer within us. It just sometimes takes something to coax it out.
Yes, exactly. You need that $500 check, or that something to coax the answers out of you. That's why the miracle morning meditation, your morning routine, starting your day. We're going to get into all these fundamentals, and that's really what this show is about in the end. We're going to help turn you into the leaders you want to be. We're going to help you find yourself. Self-awareness, and again, that really is the secret of the Rubik's Cube, and the secret of life is self-awareness. And so we're going to dive a lot into that. Our guests are going to get into their stories of that. And we're going to give you real fundamentals. We're not just going to be motivation We're not just going to tell you stories of great, exciting things that everybody else is doing and not really give you the keys. I feel like there are way too many shows out there today that they give you all the success stories. They give you all the great things, but they don't give you the fundamentals, the steps. And that's what we want to really do in the end here. We want to not only help get your mind right and change your mindset to believe that you have this greatness, because everybody does. We're all born unique. Most of us die copies. That's Les Brown, and that's I believe that. We all have some unique gift. We all have something. If you're waking up Monday mornings and you hate Monday mornings, you need to watch the show. You have something. You have a purpose. You have something inside you that's calling you for something more, deeper. You have something else that is saying, "Let me out. Let us help you find those answers in yourself." Sundays, if you're feeling that, really, oh no, Monday, I'll tell you, I love what I do now. I love everything, and I'm sure Stacey will say the same thing. And it's not that we don't have challenges. I mean, he's facing starting his own new business on himself, solopreneur journey that he's going to share, and we'll share throughout this with you guys. I'm doing the same here. Now, I do feel like I have that $500,000 check with the support that I have, and we'll talk a lot about John Hewitt and the background and backing, and that's why you see loyalty brands up in the corner and on my shirt. That for me might be my $500,000 check now, but it's you need that in the end. That's what we want to be for you until you can find that inner circle, or maybe we can be part of your inner circle. So again, what I want to leave everybody with, and then Stacey, let you close it out, is we really want you to use us as a resource, whatever that might be. I truly believe that we can learn something from everybody. So I have no problem taking a 15-minute, 30-minute phone call with anybody, because I'm sure even if we just make the connection and maybe we don't connect completely to where we align and we can collaborate on something together, I'm sure there's something I'll learn from you and you can learn from me, hopefully. So anybody, again, you're watching this, you feel stuck, you feel like you hate Mondays, you feel like there's something deeper in there calling, but you need help bringing it out. There's a purpose. You expect success, but you're just not there yet. Reach out to us. We will help you. We want to unlock that for you. Stacey, definitely with what he does with Focal Point Coaching, he'll get into a lot of his the studies and amazing things that they have through Brian Tracy, through I think Stacey, even a background with John Maxwell. So we're going to get into a lot of stuff with leadership, self-awareness, but we really just want you in the end to be your best self. We want you to find that success, whatever that success is for you, whatever that level is. And we want to help create that heaven on earth. We want you to do what you love with who you love. And that is how I think we can all end up creating heaven on earth. Stacey, go ahead and close this out. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Again, Tuesdays and Thursdays. This week we are 9 a.m. We'll probably play with the time a little bit. So follow us on LinkedIn, either Stacey or myself, to see when we're going live next. Next week, we will have our first guest, David Perez. So Tuesdays, again, are going to be our guest. Thursdays, we'll have Stacey, the business coach and the mental mechanic, breaking down, and we'll go deeper dive into kind of the guest and really just breaking down some fundamentals. So even guest David, after you're on, be sure to check us out. And any guests who do come on with us, follow follow the show on Thursday. You get some insights more into, and kind of I'll say I'm cheating, but a free little lesson or guidance from Stacey, just to really help you kind of move those little goals that you're wanting to reach that level you want to in your life. Stacey, go ahead, close this out, man.
I'm going to keep it very simple here. Donald McGlone, he said, "Be the check in other people's life," and that's what we're here to be. We want to be that $500,000 check in your life. So we're going to pour our heart and soul into this, and we're going to pour ourselves into you. So that's why we're here, and we'd love if you joined the ride.
Yes. Amen. Amen. So again, everybody, thank you all for joining us. Sorry about the audio. I will fix that. Thank you, Donald, for that message as well. So anybody, if my audio is sounding bad, shout out to my wife as well. She did mention that. I tried everything you mentioned. It didn't work. So I'm going to need a better mic. So we'll work on that for next time. But again, thank you all for joining us. Remember, you're it's you versus you. You're not in this alone. We're here to help. We want to help. You have people around you. Good people find good people. So just be good. Put out there what you want to come back. It all really works as a circle, and we all really are tied together. Um, Again, till Thursday, please make it a great week. Your choices decide your decisions. Take the chance on yourself. Make the choice. Take the chance to change your life. You won't be disappointed, I promise. Again, till next time, thanks again, everybody. Thank you to everybody. I'm going to show these last messages. Great show. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Antoine, for sticking with us the whole time. You guys are superstars. And thank you, everybody, for just being a part of this first journey of the Robinhood Capitalist. We hope you guys liked it. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Robinhood Capitalist. And until next time, find that superpower.
See you Thursday.